Man, let's talk about Maddison and Declan Rice, because one thing I'll give Declan Rice is I think he's been robbed of being consistently seen as that new look number 8 that Arteta wants to make, because Partey isn't obviously been fit. But I think Declan Rice has done well. I wanted to ask you, who do you think's had the greater impact, Maddison or Rice? Because I think it goes both ways personally.
I think they both had huge impacts in their own way. I don't always think it's either or. I think, you know, a lot of times in football, we always ask the question, who's better, him or him? And it's difficult. Look, first of all, they're very different footballers. Look, Declan Rice has very much been needed for you guys. The departure of Xhaka, the injury to Partey, he's been pivotal to you guys. He is the standout player when I watch you play. James Maddison, for us, equally, he's the standout player because he's our creativity.
Both of them got the X factor, man.
Exactly. So, listen, I think both of them. Have had good starts to their career. But look, when you buy top professional footballers, there's no risk. You know, you've brought in those two players who both know what they do, both good at their job, both experienced. They just drop in and they hit the ground running. It's when you start buying. It's when you start buying maybe players. The maybe players, the sometimes players, I call them. That's where you don't know if they're going to hit the ground running.
4 or 5 great games and then they go missing.
You knew what you were getting from Declan Rice. I think the whole country, everyone watches Declan Rice every game for West Ham and for England. And you go, yeah, that's Declan Rice. You know, he's always involved. Amen. He gets his foot in. He's got a great engine. He's a leader of men. And you know what? I was one of those ones, Sam. Yes, is £105 million a lot of money? Sure. Okay. But in the era we're in, and the fact that you're getting a young man who, for me, will be an Arsenal captain for years and years to come, you know, you'll look back on this in 7 or 8 years and go, well, you spread that 105 million over those 8 years and 300 appearances or whatever, solid signing. So for me, good player Declan Rice. I do feel people go like my West Ham mates from last season, like, oh, he's the best midfielder the world's ever seen.
Nah, he's not the best in the world. But man. Hopefully one day, but he's definitely not that. He's a very good player at that.
Very, very good footballer. And yeah, listen, I think that Arsenal will have a different look about them when you manage to get him, Partey and Odegaard on the pitch together. I don't know how many times you've managed to get that three on together.
We've been robbed of that consistently this season. Last time I think I saw that was actually probably against City at home, actually, if I'm completely honest. Since then, Partey's had his injuries come out. Odegaard's had a bit of a concussion. Declan Rice has been ever present. And you kind of indirectly touched on it with Partey's injury. One thing I like about Declan Rice is you're always available. It's really going back to City. Yes, they get injuries, but their players, for whatever reason, are always available. That's the best trait you could have. Like, I know Declan Rice arrived at Arsenal with a bit of a knock because, you know, the journalists of this world said such, and he had to come off against you lot. And you saw the whole. I think that's what I like. Jorginho. I think Jorginho's been a lot better than Arsenal fans give him credit for. But, you know, for every good game, like in our defeat against Newcastle, against you lot, Newcastle and City, them games, you sign up for the games like against you lot, where it's open. Jorginho's going to kind of be in trouble. Or the first half against Chelsea, where you've got Zinchenko and Jorginho, and you know Zinchenko was terrible. I don't think Jorginho was, and it's just they're susceptible on the counter attack, and that's where any issues Arsenal have in central midfield. I don't really have sympathy for Mikel Arteta already, because we've kind of seen this. Like, if you look at Arsenal's midfield, like players that are likely to play in the pivot behind Odegaard, who really has any confirmation around their name? Who really answers more than they provide questions? It's only really Declan Rice. Jorginho, experienced, I like you, but longevity and certain game demands, I don't know. El Nene, I don't think you're a bad player, but you're someone that's on the peripheral. You get 10 minutes, 20 minutes, the occasional start here and there. The Partey, quality player, but you never fit. And all 3 of them are on the wrong side of 30. So we need to get me. I don't know about you lot. I assume, you know, you said centre half in January. Me, I want a striker, I want a winger, but central midfield has to be the priority. If Mikel Arteta said, DG, you can only have one of the 3 positions, I know you need all 3. For me, central midfield, without a doubt. I would like a striker. They win games. I would like competition / someone that can come in for Saka. But I just feel we've got enough to get away with it. Midfield were too weak, man. Way too weak.
Yeah, I think the January window is always dictated by December. I know that sounds really obvious, but, you know, I think there's a lot I want Spurs to buy right now. But let's be fair, we could get to the end of December, Son could be injured, and all of a sudden we go, oh my God, right, we need centre backs. Do you know what? Hang on, who's going to score goals? Or you could get to that point and go, oh my God, right, well, Basuma's gone to the African Cup of Nations. So has Papa Sarr. Maddison's out injured. Oh my God, we've got no midfield. Now I need a midfielder. So I do think that listen, you know what? This is what these people are paid for at the club. This is what directors of football, technical directors, chief scouts, I don't know.
And they knew winter was coming in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah, like Game of Thrones. Winter was coming and they knew what was going on. And look, let's be brutally honest. For me, we've seen all the documentaries, we've seen all the All or Nothings, right? We've seen the Salford documentary and the Wrexham documentary. It doesn't matter what level of football you're at. These clubs, from the moment a transfer window shuts, these people in the background are paid to be worrying about the next window. It's not something that you suddenly do in January and go, right, January the 1st here, what should we do?
They should be having talks with agents and dinners and all these things as me and you are making this video, bro.
Exactly. So when people go, oh, but who's available? That's their job. I hate this. Not many people are available. No, this is their job.
They're paid to watch these footballers.
August the 31st or whatever it is.
Yeah, August or September,
October, November, December. That 4 months is their job to be onto agents. Listen, we want this player. Is he interested? What's his availability going to be like? How much are the club going to want for him? If we try and get him in January, what's the resistance going to be? Does it depend on where you are in the league? This is what they're paid to do. And yet it's the excuses rolled out for them by people all the time. Like, oh, no one was available. What? No one's available.
There's always
the whole of world football.
So this is something I say, like, yeah, the household names is one thing, but there's household names, there's scouts. As you said, people are paid. You've got analytical departments. Like, for instance, my club, we make a big song and dance about collaboration. If we know we need a midfielder, Edu collaborate with the analytical department, see the range of targets, the Douglas Luizes and all them guys we're linked with, and random, I don't know, Simon Says from Serbia or whatever, he's not known by anyone. Footballers are found everywhere. Someone's got to start somewhere. Obviously, I know our clubs are not Brighton and the ambition's a bit different and fans would have a lot less patience. But it seems like the minute before Brighton even get one out the door, another one is respawned. Like they've got the next Caicedo before Caicedo.
They're scouting years in advance. Their scouting system is right now. Ridiculous. They've got players that they're thinking about for 2025.
This is it.
But you know what? You can only do that when you have a settled manager, a settled director of football, settled scouts, and a settled style of play. The problem with all these clubs that rip up after 6 months, oh, get rid of this manager. All right, this manager comes in. I want a different way of playing. All those people you've been scouting, don't worry about it.
Forget them. Yeah. Start again.
And this is what I always use the term critical thinking in football. This is the thing. As fans, we're so emotional that we say things like this. But then sometimes if you take a step back and go, hang on, let's have a look in the background. That's why football's not as black and white as people want to make it out to be. There's so much money in it that these people are, they're paid to do it. I don't feel sorry for any of them. Yeah. If Spurs don't get a proper centre half in January, there's none of this. Oh, well, who was available? Nah. You've
known before in the summer you needed a centre half, and you found my man from Bundesliga. There must have been another one. If you wasn't have got him, could we have gone for another one? So bring the other one in. You're banging on money, man.
I don't care if you have to go to deepest, darkest Liechtenstein or Mozambique or
Amen.
Timbuktu.
Amen. I'm with you.
You scout the players and and then we get them in. But look, it's a difficult one. The January transfer window is always difficult because it's where are you at that moment in time? Like, for example, if you're Man City, do Man City really need to go out and buy anywhere? Do Man City need to go and buy anything? For me, it would just be padding out what is already a quality squad, right? I think it's all dictated by if Arsenal are joint top, you could look at it two ways. Do you go and buy someone to get you over the line? Do you keep it the same because everything's good, you're galvanized and your squad? It all depends where you are. If you're 5 points off it, do you put the money or do you say, hang on, we've lost it this year? But as I said, we're not paid to make those decisions. We're just paid. We're just here to talk football and give opinions.
Exactly. And like you said, for me, January is a difficult time because in an ideal world, no one wants to do business. If both our clubs did everything, me and you, we've got nothing to talk about in January, bar the football. It's a reactive window, bro. It's like, for instance, we're linked with Douglas Luiz. We were linked with Pedro Neto before the injury and Ivan Toney. Now, I'm very pessimistic on getting any of them, but They're all key players. You look at Tony, yeah, his contract is running down and he might be getting a bit itchy feet because, you know, he's been linked with you lot, us, Chelsea, United makes that step up and all of that. But Brentford are losing 2 of their strikers. I think Wiesel and Mbeumo, they're going off like Partey and Bissouma to the African Cup of Nations. They're going to want Tony. And even these clubs, like, for instance, I would take Tony, but you ain't played for 8 months. You know, to go back to your example about pushing us over the line, I think you could, but you're not in your best run of form. I don't know. Pedro Neto, they're gonna outprice you. Douglas Luiz, Aston Villa are flying. They've given you a new deal. If we signed all 3, you're probably looking at something similar or just about a little less than what we spent in the summer. It don't really make sense.
I mean, you've got to look at it. If right now, let's use that example, Douglas Luiz, for example. If right now, this is the job of the scouts, the agents, all of these people to go to Douglas Luiz's people and go, hey, Mikel Arteta wants to bring Douglas Luiz to Arsenal in January. Is he interested? Now, more than likely, he's probably going to say yes, because as good as Aston Villa are, I think you're a big... Well,
just a natural progression.
Second thing is, right, okay, how much has he got left on his contract? And if he's got a long time left on his contract, right. So what is going to be the appetite for Unai Emery to turn around and go, yeah, go on then. Yeah, go on. Have one of our first team midfielders.
Have one of my best players.
Exactly. So, but equally, it could be that Aston Villa have got their eye on a centre mid somewhere else. And it could be, well, listen, yes, he can go, but he can only go if we get X, Y, or Z in. And that's why it's difficult. Like, people just pluck these names out the air like they're going to move easily. But this is why you've got to get it done in the summer. You've got to get the bodies in the summer. But listen, we'll see it in January. All fans will lose their mind. I'll be one of them at Spurs. Where's my signings?
Oh, I'll be one at Arsenal, 100%. We ain't perfect.
But we all know deep down what the real issue is. So it is what it is.
I mean, all I've got from that is it pays to be proactive, really and truly. Like, I even if Arsenal were to, like, last January, you know, we got a little Trossard, you got a little Kirill, got a little Jorginho. That, you know, 2 of them players had feet out of the doors at their club. Kirill cost about 20-odd million, 25-odd million. If we could do that, do that. But with Douglas Luiz, you're gonna have to overpay now. If you're overpaying, it works great. Who cares? But I can't see us doing it. But yeah, it is what it is. My final question for you, yeah. Honestly, do you think you finish above us?
No.
Oh, it's no fun, man. I wish you was a bit
sorry, man. I listen. I'd love to be one of those Spurs fans that says yes. I don't. I'm looking at the long-term injuries of Maddison and Van der Ven. It's not like we're losing 2 fullbacks. There's losing 2 of our
players to how you like to play football.
Right. Postecoglou's style of football relies on creativity. We've just had that ripped out of Maddison, and it relies on pace and recovery at the back. And we've had that ripped out of Van der Ven. That's 2 massive, massive players for us gone.
Big holes in the team.
Yeah, I don't think we've got enough goals. I really don't. I think if you take away Son's goals, I truly think we struggle to score goals. We've only scored more than 2 once this season in a game.
And I said we struggle for goals, really and truly. Maybe I need to rein it in a bit, really. Someone's always got it worse, for real, bro.
But this is the thing. When people talk about this Postecoglou football and this, you know, this free flowing, we've only scored more than 2 goals once, and that was against Burnley away, where we scored 5. Other than that, it's all 1s and 2s, which is fine. If you win every game 2-0, don't matter. But, you know, we saw against Wolves, we scored a goal after 3 minutes, then had absolutely nothing to worry them for the next 90. So, look, I don't think we'll finish above you. Just for clarity, just so every one of your viewers can know exactly what I said.
You're a good one, man.
I've said this at the beginning of the season. I've seen nothing that's made me change my mind. I said Man City will be here. Then 100%. Down here, I think you've got Liverpool and Arsenal. I've always been a bit like that.
I agree. It's best of the rest settings.
I think Liverpool will slightly edge it because of the goal power they've got. Then Arsenal, and then I think 4th to 8th could be anywhere. Newcastle, Chelsea, Man U, Spurs, Villa, Brighton. It could be anyone in there. So that's how I said at the beginning of the season. I've not seen anything in the first 12 games that makes me change my mind from any of that. So, I'm sticking with that.
No, I'm with you, man. I think, everyone's hope definitely as an Arsenal fan, my hope would be City have to really fall off a cliff. They're just the best of the rest. Their worst is what a lot of us would dream for. Before I let you get out of here, let people know where they can find you. Again, everything is going to be in the description and pinned to the video, people. But it's best they always hear it from the horse's mouth, man.
Yeah. So Football Heritage TV. I mean, obviously I'm a Spurs fan, but I try and vary my content. I don't like just doing Spurs stuff because otherwise you get so in the zone. So anyone's welcome to come and join us. We've got a new show starting tonight as well called Rivals React. I want to get you involved in this as well.
Come on. What time is that for people?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. people. This is the 14th of November, by the way, folks.
Yeah, so it's a new show called Rivals React, where it's going to be every Tuesday, fans from every different club. And so if you want to subscribe, please do. And hopefully I'm level-headed enough for you to follow. So, thanks for having me on. I've really enjoyed it.
No, man, I appreciate you. As I said, man, again, you're a Spurs fan, but you must be doing something where all my subscribers are on to me about getting you on. And now I can see why, man. So, yeah, I'll definitely appear on that show.
If they are, they should be my subscribers as well.
Then they should be your subscribers. You know what? If they are, you know what? They probably watch a bit of everything. You're probably in the same boat as me in that, people probably go to other Spurs fans to see them, tearing into themselves and tearing into their club. And when they need some logical analysis and a soothing reality, that's when they probably look at you, how you feel about the game. We're probably in the same boat, man.
Like when we go and watch AFTV to see a meltdown, right? Is that what you mean?
Exactly.